Just a whisker away from coming up with the steal there.
Catching up on the changes for Denver. Terrell Arthur, he's checked in for Laverne. Chandler comes in for Gallinari. And it's Gary Harris in for Will Barton. And then for Atlanta, Splitter's checked in for Horford. Cephalosha comes in for Kent Bazemore. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Jeff Teague.
You know, that's been a big part of their offense in the early stages. I mean, their success working the ball inside and getting points from close range, right at the rim.
And Clark, they might as well keep doing it. I mean, attack the basket until the defense makes an adjustment.
Scott. No good on the buzzer beater. The scoring fast and furious as we end the first quarter. Transitioning from college to the pros can be a challenge for many players. Here's what Freak had to say about it. Good points, Clark. What role do coaches play? And the Hawks with a completely new group on the floor. The Hawks leading by 13. And Mike Scott, a former second-round draft pick who has carved out a role here in the NBA the last 2 seasons, Clark. He was a major contributor off the bench.
Yeah, he's been a betweener, you know, not big enough to maintain position down low on a consistent basis and not quick enough to really be a three-man or small forward, but what he can do is get to the basket, rebound okay, and knock down the deep shot.
On the court right now for the Hawks, Williams in at shooting guard. Horford is out there with Mike Scott. Then there's Teague, and it's Bazemore at the 3, the small forward. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, Kev, Freak in the last matchup against the Suns wasn't happy with how he played. He picked up 5 points, and he also added a few assists as he set up his teammates as well. He shot a very low percentage from the field, uncharacteristically low. We'll be curious to see how he responds here in this one, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Great job. You know, even the best players have weak games, guys. And I think we saw that pretty clearly.
Yeah, and the question now becomes, you know, can you bounce back? Will he be able to put that game behind him?
That is the question, Greg, and I'm guessing he can. I'm sure he's discouraged, but he won't dwell on it. He knows how to deal with having an off night.
Here's the screen. And Gallinari kicks to Laverne. Shakes off the strong D and gets to the bucket for 2. Laverne's got 4 points in the quarter.
And getting back to Mike Scott, his three-point percentage and attempts have increased each year he's been in the league. With a high, quick release, he's capable of making tough shots with a hand in his face in a way other players simply can't.
5 on the clock. Back to Williams. Top of the key. Again, Williams missing.
Another shot from outside. They're not attacking. I mean, going in and seeking contact like they did in the first one, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, you can't play the score, Clark. You have to play your game. They need to mix it up a little bit here.
Here's Harris, and the 3 ball is good. Harris has got 5. And Atlanta has possession. Last game matchup with the Suns, a tough loss there.
You know what? A lot of three-pointers, but for me, more so, it was the shot selection on those three-pointers. I just felt like they were just too trigger-happy from downtown.
You know, Greg, sometimes you're able to shoot your way out of a slump, but they just kept making things worse. Sometimes the harder you try, the worse it gets.
23 seconds left in the first half of the game. Teague gets a screen from Williams. Teague dishes to Williams. Again, the miss by Williams.
There's no getting around the simple fact that that's a shot he has to knock down.
Here's Harris. Misses in close. It'll count. And he drains the 3, but let's see. They may need to review it. I'm not sure the ball was out of his hand in time. And we are not going to halftime just yet. Officials signaling they are going to review the tape.
And the footage relayed to the officials from the replay center in Secaucus, I think he got it off in time. The replay leaving little doubt.
But to me, it's worth being certain. And that's why we have replay, to get these big calls right.
And they've overturned the call. The replay was conclusive, and that one's going to count.
And Kevin, an example of why it's good to have replay. I don't know what kind of impact it'll have on the final result, but you always want them to get every call right
And so that's the end of the first half. Hawks lead by 12. And we'll be back for the second half following the break. Keep it right here on 2K Sports. And as we welcome you back, we begin our second half. So far, not a tightly contested game, guys, but, you know, anything can happen. It's been one outstanding game from Jeff Teague. Cephalosha comes in for Kent Bazemore. Williams, he's checked in for Kyle Korver. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Jeff Teague. Arthur out there with Wilson Chandler. Then it's Moutier. Then there's Harris. That's the group on the floor for Denver. Here's Jokic. Atlanta with the rebound. And going against Denver, their first meeting of the season.
And going back a season ago, it was a win for both sides in their two meetings.
And even though one side played postseason basketball and the other stayed at home, you wouldn't have known it in their matchups.
Millsap passes to Williams. Now here's Moutier. 8 points for him. Pass to Jokic. He feeds it to Chandler. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. Let's take a brief moment to look at the 2K leaderboard with the list of the league's feistiest defensive teams. The Nuggets third.
You can't get careless with the basketball against this group. I mean, they'll pick your pocket, and no surprise to see them in the upper echelon as far as steals.
Shoot two. Shoot two.
He's off on the first.
You know, when I think of Wilson Chandler, what comes to mind is supreme athleticism. He can throw it down with the best of them, and yet he's still working on the other areas of his game to be more well-rounded.
No luck that time either.
And that'll increase their rebound advantage. They've definitely been winning that battle on the boards.
You know what? No rebounds, no rings, and they've controlled the boards, and that's what's given them control of this game.
That's good.
And just a little bit ragged defensively there, Clark.
Now here's Moutier. He's guarded by Schroeder. Moutier kicks to Chandler. And it's Moutier, top of the key. The Nuggets moving the ball around. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. Moutier's got 10 points in the game. The Hawks leading by 16. Schroeder kicks to Williams. To the left side wing. Pass to Millsap. 5 on the clock. Shoots. The shot by Williams, no good.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better from that range.
On the wing, Harris. Feeds it to Moutier. Shoots the 3. Rebound, Atlanta. Millsap's got rebound number 5 here tonight. Harris against Williams. Millsap kicks to Cephalosha. Splitter sets a screen to the paint. Got a piece of it. Out of bounds, Hawks ball as Atlanta keeps possession.
Hawks ball. Welcome fans to the FIBA World Tournament.
Here's Williams. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
Clearly a foul. I mean, didn't give him any choice but to blow the whistle. I mean, you got to play without fouling.
2 shots.
And both free throws good for Williams. Moutier. Can't hit.
Now on the court, your Mycareer Nuggets dancer.
And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. For Atlanta, they've gone through the fourth quarter shooting 50%, 7 of 14. On the court right now for the Hawks, Williams. He's in at shooting guard. Mike Scott out there with Cephalosha. Then it's Splitter. Nurkic with the steal. Chandler outside. Knocked away. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Hawks.
You're right, Steve. It was a standout performance across the board. They were just, at times, hard to see toying with.
Yeah, like watching a cat play with a mouse, Kevin, quite honestly. They were able to do more or less, whatever they wanted to do.
And now, on the year, this will take them to 28 wins.
And so they'll take the first game of the season series, a team they'll only see twice. They're certainly happy to start it off with a win.
And that next meeting, Greg, will be their second and final game of the season series, being in opposite conferences. So you bet nobody wants to get swept even in a two-game season series. I think the next game will be hotly contested.
And when you look back at this one, what an amazing performance this was for Horford. You look at the energy he brought on both ends of the floor, and it's easy to see why he was a difference maker.
There's the pick. And Augustine kicks to Nurkic. Shot clock at 6. Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession.
I tell you what, he clearly had a brain freeze on that one. You might just as well keep going straight to the bench.
Atlanta's gone 3 of 4 from downtown here in the fourth. It's Williams with the drive. Good.
And they've just done a great job of keeping this crowd out of the game. And we're getting closer to victory. The crowd's getting quieter.
And there's not a whole lot for them to be cheering about anymore. I mean, their guys got it handed to them.
Arthur, and good. Coming in on the assist by DJ Augustine.
Loved the assist. I mean, he knew exactly where that bounce pass had to be to create that opportunity.
Williams, a screen on Augustine.
Move the ball. It's sticking too much.
Now here's Schroeder. He's guarded close, and the officials call over the back. A little too aggressive there.
Yeah, nothing wrong with fighting for the rebound, but he gets nailed with the over-the-back ball.
And, Greg, you know I was an offensive rebounder in my day, and I like that kind of aggressive play. But he's got to do a little better job of trying to get position earlier in that case.
That's a good point. Positioning is so vital when you're trying to rebound the basketball, and that's something that wasn't on display on that possession.
Augustine with the steal. And now the Nuggets. Fast break. Here's Sampson. And here's Augustine. And so it's the Hawks taking care of business in this one. A resounding victory for them. And Greg in enemy territory, no less.
And that's exactly right. But with the way they controlled the game and just completely took the crowd out of it, that's how to get it done on the road.
And now we'll send it.
Well, Paul, congrats.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith. Without further ado, let's present to you our Jordan Player of the Game, Al Horford. Tonight we saw all the reasons why he's been an established presence in this league for as long as he has. Clutch play from a great veteran.
Boom, boom, boom. That's right, Ernie. Instruments. This guy was instrumental tonight in making sure they avoided a second straight loss. They needed somebody to step up tonight, and he was their guy.
Yeah, Al Horford put in some serious work bringing home this win tonight. He's always been the definition of a great two-way player, and when you've got a big man who's that versatile, it's a huge boost for your ball club.
And that wraps things up, folks. Thanks for joining us. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin